Okay, so welcome to episode 2 of PRs and Purpose. This is the official podcast for CrossFit Sola Fide. Today, Ricky and I are going to be talking about CrossFit versus the world, right? And when I say the world, obviously, it's other programs that are available out there that people are doing.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to say versus as if like there, because there's no like, this is better than that, right? We're just kind of discussing our knowledge on CrossFit, and then our experience with some of these other ones. So we're going to touch on, Orange Theory, Globo Gyms, High Rocks, Pilates, yoga, those kind of things as well. But kind of full disclosure, I've never jumped into an Orange Theory class. I've never done Pilates. I've done Globo Gyms before. I've done a simulator race before, and I've done yoga. Um, and this isn't so much of a comparison because it's like apples to oranges, in my opinion. And I don't have any personal experience with some of these. But and the reason why is not because I don't think that they're effective or they have, pros and good things about them. I just think from like my own personal standpoint, I'm satisfied with the results that CrossFit has always given me, that I've never searched for something else.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what it comes down to is like I have been doing CrossFit for Cameron's 11, about 10 years now. And I'm the fittest I've ever been. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I feel the best I've ever felt before, even when I thought I felt normal. I quickly realized that that was not, in fact, normal. Like there was a way to feel better than what I thought was kind of my best. And it wasn't until I started doing CrossFit consistently that that happened. And throughout my journey, I just didn't need to or want to search for anything else because this was fulfilling everything that I was looking for and even things that I didn't even think I was looking
Didn't know you
for. So
needed it.
yeah, needed it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I don't, that's why I've never done it. I do think after this podcast that I probably will hop into an Orange Theory class just to see what it looks like. Might dabble in Pilates. I hear that the entry to that is a little bit um more challenging, from what I've heard from friends who've done it. You can't just like, I guess you can drop in, but there's like levels to it. And I don't know. We'll get into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So
Yeah.
I
I've
don't know.
only
I don't know
same
if
thing.
Pilates is one thing that I'm like, I want to go try it. I don't know if I really do.
I don't know. I have the similar disclosures, right? Like I've dabbled in fitness majority of my life and always tried different things. And literally sat outside of an Orange Theory in Colorado Springs when I was waiting on my food to be picked up because it was like a meal prep service and watched a whole class pretty much. Like, and I was just like intrigued, like it was hype. Like, but like I've never done one. I've just kind of witnessed from the outside. Same with the High Rocks thing. I've never done that either, but I've been a part supporting you during your simulator and kind of all that stuff. And I know what it consists of and all the movements and stuff, but like I haven't done those things. Like, so I have similar disclosures. And yeah, CrossFit's always given me like everything I was looking for and more. So I didn't feel the need to go see what else is out there because anytime I wanted to do something different, I just go do that event, whether it's a 5K or a half marathon, which that's that, like, and I want to do a High Rocks, but yeah, I feel like I have a decent foundation in fitness because of CrossFit and I get to go explore those other avenues when I want. Um, but from like a day-to-day thing, like it's definitely CrossFit. So just like Kim said, or you said, really, it's like we're not here to tear anything down. They have a purpose and they have a place. Um, our thing is just to
Have
like,
an ideal client.
and they have an ideal client. They have an ideal audience on who they're looking for. And our goal here is just to kind of like help, educate as best as we can. So when people are looking for them, they can kind of match up. Well, this is the results I want. Which program should I choose? You know what I mean? That's really all it is. And then, yeah, that's kind of we'll go from there,
Yeah. I think just starting, with what is CrossFit, right? I think CrossFit does a really great job of preparing everybody and to feel confident to be able to sign up and do whatever you want to do, right? And I think that's really the beauty of it. It's like, yeah, I do CrossFit consistently. And because I do that consistently, if I want to hop in and do a high rocks race, I feel confident that I can
Just
do that.
go do
I
it.
can do it. If I want to, sign up for a marathon and then midway I'm like, oh shoot, like I have this ankle injury. So now I'm gonna put on a 20-pound ruck and I'm gonna do a 5K ruck instead. I did it. And it was like, and I had that confidence and I had that capability because of the training that I do and the exercise that I do. It was it was a no-brainer. I was like, well, I'm
Just
just gonna
shifted.
shift. I shifted, because it was like, well, I don't want to run, on an injured ankle for a half marathon. Be sure I can mosey through a 5K, even with, a 20-pound rock on my back. I was like, I've never done it before, but
That's cool. Yeah.
and I
Let me
did
try
it.
this.
I did it and I won first place. It was
Yeah.
really awesome.
On that
But
money.
again, it's like I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was doing another program. And I say that because
Yeah.
I honestly believe that. I
That's
don't
good.
think that these other programs prepare people for that, because they're very specific in either movements or time domains or aerobic versus anaerobic capacity. They're very specific in those realms and they stay there. Whereas CrossFit is very versatile, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the biggest differences. Yes, if you look at our movements and you look at movements that you see in a high rocks race, they're similar, but we are not the same.
Yeah,
And not
definitely
the
not.
same in like approach, right? Just talking about that. So we can kind of, I guess, start with high rocks.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, like for CrossFit, just to lay what it is, right? People hear about what CrossFit is and all the things, and oh, it's a methodology, it's not a workout, and they get all sciencey. But at the end of the day, it is a general physical preparation style program, meaning it's going to prepare you for the physical and mental demands of everyday life. That's it. You're gonna run, walk, maybe jump. You're gonna pick yourself up off the ground. You're going to push, you're going to pull, you're going to put things up overhead, you're going to pick heavy things up off the ground, and you're going to squat. So, like, hopefully full range of motion, right? You're going to hear the mainstream version of that. That's what it means. And the mainstream version might sound something like constantly varied functional movements performed at high intensity. That's it. And what that means is constantly varied, right? From the outside gym goer, that means, oh, cool, your workouts are random. No, they're not random. We have, we would definitely just use the word random if they were, but they're varied, meaning we're going to vary, different modalities, different types, whether it's, gymnastics, weightlifting, or, like monostructural, like cardio version, if you want to say it that. But that's all that means. And we know where that workout fits in that week, and that week fits in the month, and the month, and the quarter, and the quarter, and the year, right? Because it's a training plan kind of thing, right? And then when you talk about functional movements, well, we're not here to argue that the deadlift's more important than the bench press or vice versa. We're just going to say that we're going to try to take your joints through full range of motion. And if you had that full range of motion, you're probably going to have a better quality of life outside the four walls of the gym, right? And be able to do that. And the last ones that most people get wrong is like the high intensity piece. Oh, it's high intensity. Yeah, but it's high intensity is relative to the individual, right? Meaning like we're going to meet you exactly where you're at. We're going to make sure you have access to the right range of motion. We're going to make sure that you show control and that newfound range of motion. Then and only then will we start to build capacity. That's what that is. And in each workout has a different level. We don't redline. And we'll talk a little bit about that when those misconceptions come up in some of the other style of programs out
Is
there.
it fair to say intensity also varies on, how my days go through?
Oh,
Like
100%.
my intensity, my high intensity will say on Monday is very different than what my high intensity might be on a Thursday or Friday when I've been coming consistently, whether I'm getting good sleep or not getting good sleep or I'm fueling my body. Yeah, my intensity levels on a measurement scale, like I'm not always going to be at a 9 or 10. Like
No.
my body just is not going to perform that level.
Yeah.
But I feel like when people hear high intensity, they automatically go to like, I'm going to be like, just like you said, laying on the floor. I can't breathe. I'm miserable. Like,
Yeah. 100% all the time. Yeah.
Will you be uncomfortable? Sure. That's
Yes.
challenge. That's
Yeah.
required for growth. But no, we're not
No.
crashed out laying on the takes 10 minutes to peel people up off after
No.
a workout. Are there workouts like that? Yes. And there's a time and place that we
We redlined. Yeah.
and where it's like this, I'm gonna send it like
Yeah.
because
I
I
want
haven't
to
done it in a while.
see what my body is capable of, right? Yeah. Workouts throughout the week will vary in intensity, right? The workout itself will demand a certain amount of energy from you to complete the workout or the reps involved in that workout. So you'll see that the workouts kind of do this. You know what I mean? Same movement patterns and stuff like that, or similar movement patterns, but it just had different intensities. So yeah, I think it's good to just to get that baseline of what CrossFit is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah. Which I think is great. It's important for them to understand where we're coming from. What is it? What is it that we're selling? What
Yeah,
is it that we're giving you? Right. And I think that one of the biggest things that separates a CrossFit affiliate from these other programs, and not like again a one for one, but our coaching.
yeah,
It is, yes, you are in a group, but it is small enough that we do have the expertise to be able to personalize every single one of our workouts
every day.
every day for you. So no matter what, if you're coming in and there's an injury or you're recovering from whatever it might be, or hey, you're just not feeling it today, postpartum, all of those things. We have athletes of, coming back from
Yeah,
so many scenarios or coming in for the first time with so many scenarios. So I feel CrossFit trainers are so well versed in what we do that we're able to bring anybody in and put them through the workout and give them the best workout.
yeah,
Like that's what we do. It's not cookie cutter. It's not what's on the board is what you're doing. Everyone's doing it. Everyone's expected to finish the same
yeah.
time. Like,
Not even
and
a
I
little
think
bit.
that's another big misconception where it's like, well, we hear people come in all the time. They're like, well, I can't do ABC. And it's like, cool, you don't have to.
Mm, yeah,
If it's something that you want to do, we're gonna get you there,
yeah.
but it's not, there's no strength or performance requirements to start CrossFit.
I think that's a great point to make for sure. Because during the workout brief and like the general warm up when we're starting to warm everybody up, we're monitoring like range of motion, access, what you have, what you don't have. And we're like, well, I'm already thinking in my head, like, oh, cool, that she can do this. He can do that. Oh, I already know what I'm going to do. Like, and we get excited and turned on and kind of geeked out about those things.
Yeah, we're not standing at the front of the class holding
No.
orders. Like
Yeah,
we're
definitely not.
moving from, member to member. Hey, how are you feeling today? Hey, any injuries? Hey, is anything like, do you have any discomforts? You know, depending on what the movements that we're doing
Yeah.
that we need to maybe modify. We're doing that for everybody, whether we have 6 people in our class or we have 18 people in our class. We structure our timelines and we structure the hour to be able to have those personalized touch points with every single person,
Everyone.
right? And that's our goal. Um, so I think that's a huge difference between what you're going to find inside an affiliate. And again, that's going to
Absolutely.
vary from affiliate to affiliate. But for the majority, like blanket statement, like that's what you're going to get,
Yeah.
right? That's what they all should be doing.
That's a good point real quick to touch on that most of the other things we're going to talk about are going to be franchise models where they have a structure. They're told how to train people, what facility is going to look like, what their staff is going to wear, all down to the color of everything, marketing, everything. On the CrossFit space, they're all independently owned. So you do have this like little bit of different culture, different everything inside of each gym because they're all independently owned. And like those gym owners get to run their gyms free of like any franchise model, right? I get to do it how I want to do it and focus on the things that I want to care about. So you are gonna get a little bit different CrossFit experience with every gym, but that makes it so unique because we get to go and travel and different things. Like, man, that's cool. I never even thought about that, running that gym like that or running that class like that, and you just or how it's set up. Yeah. I go in and I'm always, people always know that I'm kicking things and lifting mats up and be like, man, this is a really cool way to set it up. And then I get ideas and members as soon as I come back from a trip, I'm like, what's moving? So I'm like, anyways.
That's true.
Yeah.
But no, we're all small business owners, right? When you open up a franchise, you're part of a franchise, meaning you have limitations on personalized you can get, right?
Absolutely.
There's so many rules. But with CrossFit affiliates, we really don't have any rules. It's just like, we just hope that everyone's teaching the methodology, right? And that's our
Right.
hope because yes, if you're, a member at our gym and you go and you drop into another gym, whether you're traveling or you move and you have to go find another gym, our hope is that, we're going to guide you to is doing all the things too. Because
Yeah.
yes, because of how ours is modeled, you can walk into one that is completely not your taste.
Yeah.
But again, that's fine. Walk
Yeah.
out and go find another one.
Yeah.
There's usually clusters of them in each city
Yep.
where you're going to find more than one, right? I don't know if there's any CrossFit gym out there that has a monopoly on like a big city. We're talking big cities, small
If
towns.
so, that's awesome.
Sure. Yeah. But if so, yeah,
Yeah,
great.
great for them. Yeah. Oh yeah, Cookville. We just came from it, but
Yeah,
anyways, yeah.
unless you're like, big gyms like that. We're small business.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't put the small business on our bucket.
No,
They've got a lot going on, but
they have a
we are small. Majority of CrossFit affiliates, we're small business owners, right? So yes, we get to add all of our personalized touches, all of our flavor, all of our values. Like that's what leads our decision making and things like that. So that's why we
really
always
good
hold
point.
true to what our values are for our business. Starting this podcast, it's professionalism, ownership, challenge, and acceptance. Those are our values for our business. So with every decision that we make, we lead with those and we're like, hey, does this fall under all of these buckets? Does it make sense? If they don't, then it's like that's not the decision
It's
we're
not.
making. We figure something else out.
It's got to have a
Um,
backbone for sure.
where franchises they don't have that. It's this or that.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing too. But I think the coaching, going back to the coaching, like that's where you're going to find, like, yes, it is group classes. Yes, some of our classes can get pretty big. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you're going to get personalized attention and you're going to get modifications for the workout to help you improve. It just doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
So I think in terms of like, when we look at movements, yes, CrossFit didn't invent the squat. They didn't invent these movements. Like we're not, CrossFit wasn't saying that like we invented fitness and we invented how to do these and we know how to do it right. Everyone else is doing it wrong. No,
Yeah.
we took these movements and they packaged it in a way in a 1 hour class and in workouts that is maximizing people's efficiency because we're all busy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't have 3 hours to spend in the gym, right? We'll go over why that doesn't make sense anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you do have 3 hours in the gym, stop doing that. Like they've been able to maximize that and they've been able to provide a product really that can be delivered to a group style training model.
Yeah, and cover the full spectrum of fitness.
Absolutely.
You know?
Anybody who walks in. Yeah. And I think that's
It gets results.
That's what makes, CrossFit coaches just so great because we have the knowledge and the tools to be able to do that.
Yeah.
We're not just standing up front with a mic barking orders on what your next movement is.
Yeah.
Like we're helping you move better, like you said, move through full range of motion. If you're not there yet, we're going to get you there. We're going to show you how to get there. It's total guidance throughout your entire journey, the whole entire year. So I think let's touch on Globo gyms because
Okay. Globo gyms first.
We have personal experience with that as well. Obviously the difference, you don't have a coach unless you're paying for, a virtual coach or a virtual program.
A lot of influencer coaching out there going on right now. So there's a lot of programs out there.
So but again, you're following that. You're following someone else's workout. You're following, again, a lot of those influencers. Yeah, it's like, this is what I did. We know every body is different. So like what worked for me may not work for you. So at best, they're just suggestions. So if you want to pay and follow suggestions, then good luck to you. But the likelihood of you actually getting to where you want to be, it's not there.
There's just too many variables with every person's day-to-day, like feelings, emotions, hormones, all that good stuff, right? Not including, nutrition and sleep and all that stuff, to like match it up and be like, oh, that person aligns with me perfectly, genetics and all that. Like there's just, when we talk about Globo gyms in general, what they do really well is that they provide access at an affordable place, right? So if you have self-motivation, you have a program, you know how to program for yourself. And when I say program, you know how to write workouts that get the results you want, right? If you know how to write workouts in a way to get the results you want, the they offer an affordable option. They have a sea of equipment, and they're mostly open all day long. So it fits a lot of different things. Some of the things that are on the other side of that, though, is if you aren't motivated, if you don't know how to, program a workout, if you don't know how to do the movements, if you're not really sure about how sleep, nutrition, and lifestyle plays a role in your results, right? Then those gyms, they don't work well. They'll get you in quickly and give you all the access you could ever want. But if you don't know how to use any of it, then you're more than likely it's not a good match. Like, you're not going to end up getting the result. But it's at an affordable price, so you'll probably keep paying for it even though you don't use it. So it's like, yeah, that's kind of how. Yeah.
People don't even realize that they're still
Yeah.
and that's why.
So all of those gyms,
Which is another thing that is different. Like, yes, I think the availability for those gyms is great.
It's awesome.
People who, have, certain work schedules, or they have a certain amount of time that works best for them, that it isn't a set time on like our schedule. They can spend more than 1 hour, do multiple things, and they're not pressured to get something done in an hour, right? They want more flexibility, be like, I want to just kind of go at my own pace, and I don't want to be ran through a timeline, really. So, and yeah, they're everywhere. So no matter where you travel, most of those, especially like Golds and things like that,
Planet Fitness,
you pay for that tier membership. No matter where you go, you just find another one of those
while you travel.
While you travel and pop in, and there's no additional cost to it. It's just my membership allows me to utilize these, again, franchise gyms anywhere I go, right? You're going to be limited if you go to more remote areas, sure.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that. We're just talking about
like when we go to East
General
Texas.
City, general cities, things like that, which I think they can still.
Yeah, they do now, yeah. So.
But to touch on that, I think that is also something that people aren't realizing is changing also. So, you and I saw that Gold's had closed for Thanksgiving. Like,
oh yeah, the other day we were driving by. We were like,
had no access.
Yeah.
They didn't allow access on Thanksgiving Day. So it's like, yes, you have this access or this gym membership where you can go and go to the gym whenever you want, but they're getting to the point where it's like, hey, our staff needs breaks. Like, we need to be able to close on certain days for certain holidays and things like that. So they're starting to close too. So
which is good for them and good for their employees, for sure.
It's good for everyone to be able to take that break and have that time to spend, or at least given the opportunity to spend time with family, right?
I agree.
Which is awesome. But I think how they used to run things back in the day, they're all starting to adapt, and they're all starting to kind of realize what trends are looking like. Like, they're looking at trends now, which, everyone should in order to maximize your business. But, someone saying like, oh, this is how it is, and this is how it's like, have you really taken a look like recently? Because it's not how it used to be in some cases. And in that is like closures and hours of operation and things like that. Like, yes, you have more access than maybe our schedule allows, but you don't have complete access because they can turn
whenever they want. Yeah, whenever they want.
So that's kind of something to kind of continue to think about. Like, they're going to continue to follow trends and see what makes sense for their business model, for their staff, and for their employees and things like that as well. Because it's a business, right?
It is. Yeah.
Another big thing about, specifically, I don't know about Orange Theory, is the accountability. Like,
that's huge. I was about to say that.
Yeah, you walk into a Globo gym, maybe the front desk person says hello, but does she know your name? Probably.
If you scan your card, it might pop up.
Right, but like, they're not.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk through the door, they're not, unless you're like there all the time and you're like a regular, right? Which again is not most people. It's
right.
People who just paid for the membership, they signed up, and they're not seeing the results. These are the people that we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I got you.
They don't know
No.
what your name is. They don't know what your goals are. They don't know why you're even showing up and what workout you're about to do.
They're not supposed to.
No. Right.
That's not part of their.
This is based off their model.
Yeah,
right? They
it's their
don't
model.
have to.
No.
They're not supposed to. Now, do we have the rare instances where someone does because they've taken the initiative to learn some of the more familiar faces who come through the gym. Yes, like people are
Right. Yeah. Because if you're consistently going, they probably know
there's
your name.
nice
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
in the
Yeah. True.
world who want
True.
to get to know other people. So yes, that is the case. But again, talking majority, no, they don't. And are they going to be calling you up if you haven't come back into the gym in 5 days? That's an absolute no.
No.
They're not. They're not calling you.
Yeah.
Which I think is huge, especially when we're talking about someone who does not have an established fitness routine, hasn't really had one in the past, but wants to change that, wants to, improve their quality of life. They have this goal that they set. They're excited about it. And they go and they sign up to one of these gyms and they have all of these high hopes and high dreams. And they're like, this is it. I'm going to do it. But they don't have a support system. They don't have someone who's checking in on them to be like, hey, you haven't come in a few days. We've noticed.
Right.
They don't notice.
Yeah, they don't.
So it gets very easy for that 1 or 2 day break that you tell yourself you're going to give to turn into 5 days, to turn into 14 days, to turn into a month. And then next thing you know, you've been paying for this subscription, really.
Yep.
And you haven't gone in 6 months. And then you're like, oh, well, I guess I might as well cancel. If you even notice, most people don't even notice because it's just coming out of their credit card or their bank account.
And then they get busy.
And then they get busy. Yeah. And then it's just like, it's a forgotten.
Yep. And then they go from
And
holiday to
time flies
holiday.
really, really quick when you're drifting, right?
It does.
When we're just kind of moseying through life and we don't have a target, we don't have, something that we're aiming for, time goes by really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And we all know that when we're trying to get better, like we're holding, longer plank or we're trying to get, our first, pull up or whatever it might be. And we're putting in the work and you're like, this is taking forever. Right. But it doesn't feel that way when we're not working on it. And you're like, oh, it's been 6 months and I still don't have it or whatever.
Yeah.
That time goes by way faster.
Yeah.
Than the time that you're putting.
I agree. Yeah. I think one of the misconceptions inside those global gyms too is just like machines are safer. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's safer, like I won't get injured. But it's like when we all know like full range of motion of your joint and coach through it, where we actually make sure that we understand, the proper flexibility or, just mechanics around things, like is safest long term, because we don't know when everyday life is going to pop up and your kid's going to dart out in front of that car while you're walking through the parking lot, and it's like being able to react is huge. And if you want access to do that, like you have to train those, or you have to at least put yourself in those positions consistently to like when it's time to call on them. Just like we were moving with one of our members the other day on the trailer and he slipped and caught himself. And he's like, I would have been out for the count had I, not been doing CrossFit for the past months, a couple months and stuff like that. It's like, I just can't. I can't even like think like.
I knew a few months ago before starting CrossFit.
I wouldn't been able to catch myself. And then what? He's like, and then what?
Yeah.
And it's like little things.
Those little like progress markers that you don't know are there because you haven't been tested outside of the four walls of the gym. And it happens and you're like, whoa.
Wait, did I just catch myself?
Yeah,
Like,
that just happened.
Yeah.
Like, and I saw in another video too where, and we've had a client that has experienced this progress as well, where it's just like something, that we think is simple is like climbing up a flight of stairs, right? Is super challenging for someone. And I was watching her video the other day and she was videoing herself climbing up 3 flights. And she was like, and I'm still talking to you. This was something that I wasn't able to do before CrossFit. And now I'm walking up 3 flights and I'm not out of breath. I don't have to take a pause. It's like, those are quality of life PRs that it's like, you don't realize are coming until you have to put yourself to that life test. And you're like, wow, like that's my improvement,
So from global gyms, where you want to go towards Orange Theory? You want to go towards High Rocks? What's next?
We touched a little bit from what we know because we don't have experience with Orange Theory on the franchise model. Like
just in general then
and coaching and like you go in and this is the class. I don't know if they're able to further personalize that or not. So I don't want to go into that.
Yeah.
But I know we can, right? And I know we're not just at the front end or on our stationary bike. We want to go into like bike cycling classes and things like that. Like we're walking next to you and we're giving, tactile cues. We're giving visual cues on how to move your body better. I feel like a lot of these other franchise group classes are like, you're not getting feedback on your movement.
Yeah,
Or
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but like even with the Orange Theory things that I think they do well. They have a pretty high energy class environment, right? It's really great for beginners. Requires little to no like understanding of movements and body awareness or anything like that because you're typically on machines. It is heart driven. So the cool thing about that is when you're new and you're learning your body and learning how you're going to react, you're going to get to react in a group setting, but it's heart rate driven. Um, and you kind of get that instant feedback. Like I just did 45 minutes of condition, like, you know, like that result for some people is going to be great. Like, and they put that right in front of people. Um, what, what I think the misconception is like, what kind of long-term results does that type of workout and only that type of workout yield? You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if they have options for personal training. I know Gold's Gym does and things like that, and they will give you what you want and give you the attention you want for a much higher price than that entry level access only, right? Which is just a personal training world. I don't know what I don't think Orange Theory offers that from the best of my knowledge, but they do create a really good welcoming environment. Most of those members, from what I've even experienced, as far as like talking to members that come from Orange Theory, they're like, I plateaued after this period of time. I plateaued. I'm not seeing any results. And I think because of the workouts are templated to do a certain things at certain times, like, and they're inside of strip malls and they're inside of like all, they're packed full of classes. They don't have a way to, like, their members outgrow that membership rather quickly because their body adapts fast, to that thing. So that's what I think there. High heart rate does not always equal the best workout for me that day. You know what I mean? So that's something that I think a lot of people get wrapped around. And even when they start CrossFit, they're like, harder the faster. It's like, okay, mechanics first. Let's show up consistently, perform those mechanics under different modalities. Then and only then do we increase intensity with load, distance, time, extra range of motion. So that's that. So if that's falling underneath Global Gyms, cool. I guess the next one would be high rocks. You want to talk about high rocks next, or what do you want to do?
yeah, we can briefly touch on these last two, where it's just like high rocks, and then like either like a Pilates or like a yoga
Okay.
style. I'm not saying Pilates and yoga is the same. So
No, yeah.
section.
I don't think.
But I'm just saying, I'm not saying they're the same, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna group them together. But yeah, so high rocks, and the high rocks I did was a simulation.
Okay.
Or simulator, which is not an official like high rocks race, and I think they call them races. But it was similar in the fact that there was, if they didn't have the equipment or they didn't have the space for one or two of the movements, they can sub it out for something different. But there was still, the running intervals in between machine works and in between lunges and wall balls and things like that. So
Yeah.
still, for the most part, it was similar to what you're going to see in a high rocks race. And with that, it's funny because I, again, felt confident, because I do CrossFit, felt confident to go in and put myself to the test to see how it goes. And I feel like afterwards, kind of looking back, it felt like a Saturday WOD for us, like a Saturday workout. It was longer in time, right? We were working out for longer than of like just nonstop movements. And yes, it was partner, so I was resting while my partner was working, but there wasn't like a 20-minute and then we rested for 15 minutes and then did it again. Like, we were working for longer than an hour. But I feel like it wasn't anything. I don't necessarily feel like I felt challenged. And I think that is just the test of like, because I do a lot of those movements.
That's interesting.
Week after
Yeah.
week after week. And whenever it was like put to the test, were there parts where I could have pushed a little bit to kind of put myself in that pain cave? Yes. I think I had more in the tank to do that. So I would honestly like to do an official race to see, and to really like, I'm going to treat it like any other.
Dial up the intensity. Yeah, that's huge. That's a really good point to hit on, because no different than, your local 5Ks, local half marathons and marathons. You have the people that go because it's a fitness event. They want to put it on. It's either on their bucket list, or they've been working towards something. They want to achieve it, right? There's that side of it, and then there's the sports side of all the events that you do, and the sports side of CrossFit, where it's like, I'm going to win. Like, you completed it, that's one thing. And that's like the everyday gym goer. The everyday gym goer goes to go to the gym and they go do these fitness events because they're just like little milestones in people's lives. And it's cool. And it's a really cool event to do. Then you have the people that do the sports side of things. They'll run the marathon sub 2 hour. You know what I mean? Like, just way out in front. And like, we do fitness, and we were running that half marathon in Clarksville. And not this year. I ran it last year, and was like, these people are coming back, and I'm still going out to the turnaround point. It's like, okay, they're on a different level, right? It's a sport specific. So you're going to have those people that do the high rocks and then train very hard in those modalities to do good at the test, right? Same thing for CrossFit, right? But for the general population, these things, watching you do the high rocks simulation, I was like, yeah, I want to see her like dial it up too. You know what I mean? Because there was some times where you're going in between things and stuff, and I was like, she's comfortable, which is crazy to say. Yeah, yeah, but which is crazy to say, like, oh, she's comfortable during our high rocks, like, you know what I mean, like, um, but that's what, like, we know each other pretty well. We see each other's paces, so you can kind of tell like something's off or they're comfortable, like, you know what I mean, or like whatever it is. But at the end of the day, high rocks it's a test. It's a test. It's a race, just like a marathon's a race, triathlon, all those things, right? They're races. They're a test of fitness. It's not the full spectrum of fitness. It's not a training modality or like methodology. Yeah, yeah. It's going to have similar movements that you see in a CrossFit gym, similar machines and stuff like that, but it's not something that you would do year round for, like, to say that you have a, a large capacity across the whole fitness spectrum, right? That's just not, that's not what it is. And I don't think they intend to do that. They're not saying that they are like they're not saying like it's the fittest on earth if you make this under this time. You know
I
what I
just
mean?
think for a while it got thinned where it was like, oh, High Rocks and CrossFit are, against
Yeah.
each other, or they're the same. And I'm like, well, they're not the same.
They're not. It's
They're not
literally,
the
it's just a race. It's no different than all the other races that go on. Just because we run in the CrossFit gym doesn't mean that we're competing with the 5Ks and the marathons. Yeah. So, yeah, same thing. Different standards, completely different. Like, if you will, if you want to compare sports at the top, different sports, different everything. They do a really good job of to get a lot of people into that race. I mean, I don't know even how they do it. Like, it's like it's so impressive. The organization, the structure, the boom that it's having right now, really haven't seen anything like it in the fitness industry, like CrossFit back in the day when it boomed. And I think that's great. They create a great environment. Every race I've seen, everything, all of the stuff is always this like high, so much fun, family oriented, all kinds of different age groups. Like, they do a really good job at like making it very inclusive. Can anybody do it? Probably, but I don't know. CrossFit's whole thing, when we compare it with CrossFit is for anyone, just might not be for everybody. And these other fitness, programs out there kind of leave the door open for, yeah, they're niche. They're very niche. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
all right, that last one.
Yep.
And we'll just kind of talk Pilates and yoga in the sense of like, yes, it increases, mobility because you're getting some stretching in. It helps with, your mental health and things like that. And again, I've never done Pilates, so I don't really know. I know there's a machine involved in some levels, and I know there's levels. So like, there's ways to level up the intensity. There's ways to level up the challenge. So I think that's great. People aren't just kind of doing the same thing. It starts with like a 1 or 1.5, and then you move up. So like the videos that you see where they're putting like football players through Pilates classes, apparently they're putting them through like a 2 or 2.5 level class.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
they're challenging, like 100%. They're challenging, right? If football players are struggling trying to hold certain positions, or yes, mobility is probably a big issue there too.
Yeah. They don't. Well, yeah, they're not. They don't train that way.
But they're shaking like in a plank, and they're shaking and holding.
Yeah.
You're like, what the heck is just a plank? Right? No. Like, so there's levels to it. And again, I'm not super familiar with it. I just know like what you see in a lot of those like,
Yeah.
funny eye-catching videos is not, your base or your foundation Pilates class. There's ways to like level up and continue to challenge, which I think is great. People need that.
They do need that.
But yes, when we talk about, muscle mass and things that like, again, as we age starts to just kind of decrease, Yeah, it's not gonna build muscle mass. It's not gonna do that for you. It's not going to change your body composition. And because that requires strength training and it requires, your heart rate to get to a certain level. Like, yes, I'm sure in some of those movements your heart rate can kind of spike a little bit, but those movements in particular, like you're not going to change your body composition by
No.
just doing yoga or just doing Pilates.
Right.
You're just not.
Yeah.
So I think when people are going in and they're seeing these instructors and they're like, "Oh, you're an instructor. You do this all the time. I want to look like you." It's like that is an unrealistic expectation, because it doesn't change your body composition that way. They probably looked that way well before they got into Pilates or yoga.
Or
Um,
they have another part of the fitness that you
right.
don't get
Or
to
they're
see.
doing something else.
They're doing
It's
something
like they're just
else.
not
Yeah.
discussing that.
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
they
that's
don't have.
very true
Yeah.
too, which goes
Yeah.
back to the influencers. They're not disclosing a lot of the things that are getting
What
them
they're doing or not
the
doing.
body right,
Yeah.
the body that they have. It's not just the things that they say that they're doing in
Yeah.
most cases, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I think what,
so I think for that, like for yes, for stretching, for mobility, for things like that, probably great.
yeah.
And I think it's good to have those extra memberships if you can afford it to do because as, someone who does CrossFit all the time, I need stretching. I need to improve and increase my mobility to be able to move through some of these movements under load safer. Because if I'm just relying on like coming to CrossFit and I'm not stretching, I'm not, mobilizing and making sure that my joints and my muscles and all of that are improving or helping me, um, then I'm gonna get injured. Like, and
yeah.
that's
I th-
so I don't think they're necessary memberships to have, but I think if you want one and you have one and you have the money for it, I think they're cool. Again, they're group setting, they're trainer led. So it's like I'm not you just watching me YouTube video doing it in my bedroom. Like I've tried that. It's not the same. So
yeah.
I like going to those classes, but those aren't going to be, again, you're not going to get the body composition that you are searching for by just solely doing Pilates or solely doing yoga.
Yeah, I think they provide. There's a time and place for those things. People that come back from injury, people that are. I mean, they're great for the core. They're great for stability. They're great for like accessing new ranges. Yep, accessing new ranges of motion. Right, showing control through those ranges of motions. Just because you can get down to a spot within your squat or whatever it is, doesn't mean that you should be moving weight at that place or whatever it is. Right, that unknown and unknowable like lifestyle in the world, but. As far as like having a membership for that, like I definitely think a CrossFit gym, a well-structured CrossFit gym could do those things for you. Like I don't know if you necessarily need a separate membership to do those things. If it was like there's a niche that's going on and there's something going on with you to where you want this specific result and they provide those results, absolutely. I think that there's a time and place for specificity. Um, but like we take care of cool downs, mobilities, good general warm ups, like all of that stuff can kind of happen here. And you're going to gain mobility through movement. And a CrossFit gym is going to take you through full range of movement consistently to where we're going to increase your ranges of motion. We're going to give you control in those ranges of motions. And then when we see that consistently, we can dial up the intensity to whatever level you want, whether it's 1.5 or 2.5 or whatever it is, right? So I definitely think that like overall, when you think about a CrossFit gym, like the amount of things it can offer someone, regardless of the results and regardless of like what they're trying to do in the world, it's going to give you a good foundation. Will it make you a better athlete, like at a specific sport? No, it's not going to make you a better baseball player because you came to a CrossFit. You still have to go to baseball practice and work on the things. I try to tell my son that all the time. He's like, well, I'll just do CrossFit more. I'm like, it'll give you a good foundation, son, but it's not going to make your hand and eye coordination well enough to go to the league. You know what I mean? Like you got to go do you got to go do baseball and all these other things too. Is like, if you're using it, it's a good gateway into a world of fitness and, capacity that you've probably never seen if you haven't tried CrossFit.
Yeah.
But
And I think to wrap it up, I think, kind of just to put it all, in a, again, remove it from the comparison to a, what is my CrossFit membership going to give me?
oh, that's a
And it's
good,
like, yeah, it's going to give you the strength. It's going to give you the cardio. It's going to give you the group support. It's going to give you the accountability. It's going to give you mobility and stretching. Like it gives you all of the other things that are available out there in a 1 hour class. So when people are talking about, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for this, I'm too busy for this, my schedule is this, it's like, cool. All of those things, if you separate them out, you have to dedicate 5 hours a day to get your stretching in, to get your strength in, to go out for a run and do your cardio, to maybe chat with, your friend on the phone for 30 minutes for, your mental health, and then maybe check in on an app if you're logging things to help hold you accountable, right? All of those things take time. We do all of those things in an hour, and you
Yeah.
get all of those benefits in 1 hour. So when people are like, time domain, I'm like, well, it's probably the best thing for you then. It's because you don't have time for
It's
5 hours to go work on all
yeah.
of those other things separately. We do them all for you here in 1 hour.
Yeah. It's literally for the busy person. It is for the busy person.
It is. And you're going to get results from it.
Yeah. And you're going to see results probably faster than any other program I've ever been a part of. Very true. If you come once a month, not gonna happen. Can't guarantee it.
Listen to our first episode about, committed club.
3 to 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what it takes, like what work you have to put in order for that to happen. But yes, that is what we sell. We sell it all and we give it all in 1 hour time.
Yes, we do.
That's really it, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks for listening in. As always, if you have any questions or any comments or anything like that, you can email us at info@crossfitsolified.com.
Yeah.
And we're going to take one of these episodes throughout the month to help answer, or not help, but we're going to answer some of those questions in there to help give you, a thorough.
Yeah. Tailor to what you need. Just remember, team, like whatever program you decide to do, whatever gym you decide to go to, just choose the one that you can stay consistent with at the end of the day, because consistency trumps most things, like we said last time. All right.
See you later.
See you.